People say, can a black woman win in Mississippi? And my short answer is yes. Well, I would say, why not now? But more importantly, it's because I'm been led by the Spirit. I'm being obedient to the Spirit and the calling upon my life. I believe I am walking in my purpose. God has purposed this for me. And He's purposed this for me because when we look at the issues that plague Mississippi, and I use the word plague sparingly in the sense that we are at the bottom of practically every social ill there is. In healthcare, we're ranked 50th. In infrastructure, 49th. Fiscal stability, 49th. When we think about our education, 46th. And I can go on and on. But Mississippians well know the problems that exist. And so I'm being obedient and making sure that I can use the skills and talents that God has given me to make a difference in Mississippi. I believe that working together we can create a better Mississippi, and that's what I'm committed to doing. You hit it right on the head because it would be an effort to stabilize the issues and not close these facilities. When we think about health care, when we think about the fundamental needs and basic needs to be able to cover our citizens, I think that's one of the basic things, is to be able to show our citizens that we are concerned about their well-being by making sure that they're properly covered through health care. I believe that we can provide affordable health care to all our citizens. We have a moral obligation to do so. There should not be anyone that is not covered. Yet Mississippi again sits 50th in health care. We are at the bottom when it comes to healthcare coverage. And so my thing is, first and fundamental, I will not reject federal assistance to expand Medicaid. That is, to have done so is a slap in the face to Mississippians who we pledge or commit to serving. And as a person in political office, when you reject such aid as that, you're letting Mississippians know that you really don't care about their health, don't care about their well-being. So that's first and foremost. I will not reject help that will help Mississippians. Secondly, as you said, we have situations where in rural areas, hospitals and clinics are closing. That's detrimental. When people have to travel hundreds, literally hundreds of miles to get health care, that's a problem. We are allowing Mississippians to suffer in pain and even die because of our lack of ensuring that we have the right facilities in the right locations. So under a Williams administration, that will be resolved in the sense that we will stabilize. People say that that's costly, but it's more costly when we're trying to get our citizens taken care of through the emergency rooms and the bills that stack up when we could be taking care of them on the front end. And I'm committed to doing that. Well, I think that the reason that it's getting a little bit more momentum is because people see what's going on around the country and seeing other states moving in that direction. I say that I am 100% for the decriminalizing of marijuana. And I understand people's desires when they have medical conditions and they think that marijuana can address the pains and the side effects they perceive may not be as significant as some of the other medications. I understand that. I get that. I do not think that people ought to be spending time behind bars because of the use of marijuana. But that's where I am. I'm in the decriminalization of marijuana. And And I think that for others who take on this issue of marijuana, I think unfortunately, that they think that that's what constituents want to hear, and so they pick up that and they run with it with no sincerity about the consequences of recreational marijuana use and legalizing it. And so for me, my bottom line is decriminalization of marijuana. I am in favor of quality education. I believe that our educational system, the way it exists today, is failing. When we look across the state, we have areas where our performance is poor, as reflected by F or D rating, but we have pockets of success where we have A ratings. We can look at where we have success and mimic that success. I believe that parents are invested in making sure that their children have the best education possible. And so parents have the ability to make good, logical choices for their children. I'm a product of the public education system here in Mississippi. I know its potentials, but I also know its failures. We have got to make sure that our education is a priority. And as we put money in education, we can't allow it to stay at the top. We have to ensure that it trickles down to our students and to our teachers. And it is, again, a reflection of how those politicians have shown through policies and their actions that they don't care about our kids. And when I say our kids, I'm talking about Mississippi children, as reflected by the quality of the structures that they receive their education in, the resources that they receive to get their education, and also the quality of education that they receive. So we can do better. We will do better under a Williams administration. And it's not difficult to do better. We see success. It's not hard to duplicate success. But unfortunately, some people have benefited and certainly have become comfortable with keeping Mississippians at a lower educational level. And that will stop with the Williams administration. Well, one is just to get out before the public and let them know where I stand. Whether that be through door-to-door, person-to-person conversation, getting out media exposure, radio ads, television ads, whatever is necessary. But I think that people will see a stark difference between me and any of the other candidates. What they'll see is someone who is genuinely concerned about Mississippians, who is committed to making sure that we change those things that are broken. And they'll see that they have leadership in me that they have not experienced in the past. I am a former officer in the United States Army. I am a retiree from Jackson State University, administrator who directed several projects and programs. I have over 30 years experience in leadership and service to my state, my community, and my country. What they'll get is leadership, commitment, dedication, and determination to change what has been so often and for so long a problem in Mississippi. And that problem lies with health care, with education, with infrastructure, Criminal justice reform is another issue that I'm passionate about. I'm also can't overlook, if we don't protect our environment, how we will be in jeopardy of not having clean air and fresh water. So these things, and of course, social economic stability, those things are important to me, and they're important to Mississippians. And so when people hear what I have to say, I'm convinced that the word will be spreaded and folks will understand that I am right for Mississippi. Well, again, the issues that exist are not issues that are blue. They're not issues that are red. They're issues that are Mississippian issues. When we talk about health care, and we talk about wanting to make sure that we have a healthy Mississippi, who can really be in opposition with that? And I realize that people's approach to it may be different. But if we can come to an even understanding that everyone that lives in the state of Mississippi should have health care, and it should be affordable. See, I know of real stories of individuals who have education, who have had jobs, who can't afford health care coverage, who are walking around and are praying that they don't become ill or injured. I see people who have a solid base education and have skills and talents but cannot find a job. And so when I hear about the low unemployment rate, it flies in opposition to what we know and see around us. With plants closing, with companies leaving. I think I heard a story, Payless is getting ready to shut their doors. There are people who are suffering. The numbers are real. 27% of our population live below the poverty level. Practically 50% of the population can be considered poor. Our problems are real. We are riding through our neighborhoods and our highways and byways, and it looks like bombs have been dropped on them because of the road and the infrastructure. These problems are real. So when it comes to bipartisanship, we know what the problem is. We come together, and where we have common ideas and beliefs, we can start from there and then build from that. I'm going to be working with everybody regardless to what their political affiliation is. And I want people to hear that message, because I tell people, regardless of your political affiliation, if you want to see a better Mississippi, vote for Velesha P. Williams. And this is what I'm going to be preaching and telling folks as I move around this state, is I am sincere about fulfilling God's purpose. And all I need is for Mississippians to believe in the change that we can create together. And that's by voting on August the 6th. We can do this. And for those who reject or resist trying to make Mississippi better, I have no problem exposing them to Mississippians and letting them know that this individual is blocking and who's trying to stop creating a better Mississippi. People who have suffered too long. Mississippians deserve better. You ask why now? Because the problems are so great that if we continue on this path, we are slowly but surely killing the hope and faith that exists in our citizens. That's why our young people, when they have talents and skills, begin to flee the state. But if we could offer a better choice, a better environment a better social setting, we can keep our talent here. We can give them something to be proud of. Mississippi is a beautiful place. It's a place that my parents returned to back in 1974 after leaving in the early 40s. When they left for one fundamental reason: to have and create a better opportunity for their family. That same reason is why people leave today, to create a better opportunity for their families. But I want people to come back to Mississippi and to stay here in Mississippi for the same reason my parents came back. And that's because they see the potential. They saw the potential in Mississippi. And I see it. And I know we can create a better Mississippi. And that's what I'm hoping for. The time is now. And I'm not willing to leave anybody behind. I'm working for all Mississippians here in this state. So I tell people, a better Mississippi, all here now.